Okay, so we're going to start off introducing ourselves. I'm Tony.
And I'm Chantel,
and we're the Tonyandtelshow. And we want to welcome you and Nesby to the Tonyandtelshow today, and thank you so much for doing this with us.
And thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Okay, so Miss Ann Nesby, you had a long-standing career. You had a solo career since '96, but you've been with Sounds of Blackness before then.
Absolutely.
You all had 2 Grammy wins. You guys had successful hits. All these kinds of things. Why did you decide to leave Sounds of Blackness?
Well, actually, the decision was made for me. As I was signed on as a solo artist before the single For Sounds of Blackness was ever released, I was signed as a solo artist to Perspective Records, and who were Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, 2 of our world-renowned producers. They decided to exercise their option to release me as a solo artist. After Sounds of Blackness, Sounds of Blackness had experienced some great success in the market, they felt like it was time to release me as a solo artist because I was so prominent and so much of the Sounds of Blackness record that they felt like it was time to release me as a solo artist, because part of the stated goals for Sounds of Blackness and the mission was to serve as a springboard for aspiring artists. So it did just what it was intended to do for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you went solo, did you feel like, was there any kind of nervousness or any kind of doubt? Because you had been group for a while, so now you're going out solo on your own, that's kind of scary,
Oh, absolutely. It was because going out with Sounds of Blackness was so easy, and it was such a cushion because actually Sounds of Blackness had reached way up into the numbers of 40 members at some point. And then when we traveled and toured, there was always a complement of 17 people. So when you go from 17 people being on stage to one person, it becomes a whole lot of space that you have to fill on the stage. So I found myself looking back more so because I interacted with so many people on stage. But being blessed enough to have my immediate family sing background for me when I went out as a solo artist was really a blessing. So it wasn't as hard as it would have been.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You was in Sounds of Blackness, which was an amazing group. I want to know, what were some of the challenges you faced being in a group as opposed to being solo?
Well, I think I had a wonderful time with the group. But some of the challenges that you face when you're with a group of that enormous size is first and foremost finance. Because when you're on stage with 17 people, that check, it don't look quite like it does when you go on there by yourself. So that was one of the challenges. But I think one of the other challenges that you face of being realistic, you run into the green-eyed monster.
Yeah.
Because you have that element, Satan always rears his ugly head. You have the challenge of people wanting to have their opportunity to be first in the limelight. So other than that, I had a wonderful time because Sounds of Blackness was an extended family for me. Plus, I had my immediate family, my daughter, who was one of the youngest members in Sounds of Blackness, Miss Jamesia Bennett, at the time was 17. And my nephew was the drummer. And my sister, Shirley Marie Graham, who was one of the soloists, lead soloists for the group, had been in the group for 10 years before I got there. So she brought me on to the group, brought me into the group. So my challenges were few, I can proudly say.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went solo in '96. Your first album was "I'm Here for You."
Mhm.
What were your expectations for that album when it came out?
I don't know. I don't know what I really expected because it was my very first project.
Yeah.
I really didn't know what to expect as a solo artist. I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted it to be successful. And by success, I meant that people would receive it well, and that it would bless the people that heard it, and that the message that I brought would be a message of hope and encouragement to people, whoever heard the music, that it would inspire them to do better and know that any situation was achievable, and that you are able to withstand anything if you trust God, which is always my message in my music, because I walk from a Christian standpoint of view. So even though I sing music about relationships and what we notably call secular music, or gospel music, or inspirational music, my solution is always the same, that God is in control, and that whatever you're going through, that He is the answer through prayer.
Amen. So on this album, I'm Here for You, your first album, you had, many good songs on this album, but it was one song that stuck out to me, which is "I'm Still Wearing Your Name." Now I'm young, but they say I have an old soul.
So yeah, he's 17, but like he sings that song like he was there when you wrote it. You recorded it.
Well, that was a song from experience. And it was a song of about relationships, because I sing a lot about relationships, and I write from a storyteller's point of view. And I was watching TV. I was going through a very traumatic time in my life, and I was watching TV, and at the bottom of the screen, on the talk show, it said that 50% of marriages in America end in divorce. And I realized at that point, that sometimes God has, as Oprah says, He gives you an aha moment, and you realize that in the deepest of your valley or your depression, that you're not alone. And He struck my spirit to write that song, and to share some of the things that I'd seen my family and friends go through, and then going through it myself, and feeling sometimes when you go through situations like that, where you have a relationship split, you feel despair, and you feel like this is like unheard of, and that you're the only one in the world that's going through it. But you realize that you're not the only person that this has ever happened to, and that there is better times coming. And you realize that you have to pick yourself up and trust God, that He will allow you to live, and find another mate that's willing to live the way that He intended for you to live. And you just have to trust God and pray. So as I begin to write, I just begin to write the truth, tell about my experience, and tell what I did, how God blessed me to find somebody else that loved me and appreciated me. Because sometimes when your heart is broken, it don't look like it's gonna make it there. You're gonna make it to that point. But when you have trust in God and know that He is able to pull you through any situation, then you say, I'm still wearing your name, but things are not the same.
Exactly.
And that life is better on this side.
Yeah. And that lives on. That's one thing I love about your writing is somebody 60-year-old can relate to it, and somebody that's 17-year-old can relate to it because we all go through relationships that's prominent today as it was. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And whether it be a marriage or a friendship, no matter what the relationship is, we all have relationships. And in this life, our lifetime is built up around relationships. So having the opportunity to work with Pastor Creflo and Patti with Arrow Records, it allowed me an opportunity to continue to sing music that inspires the heart of man and to talk to and minister to relationship as opposed to singing Sunday morning music or music that you just sang to put you praise and worship music because we live in the world. We may not be of the world, but we live in the world, and we go to secular jobs every day, and we deal with people on a secular level, and we have to be able to inspire and talk to the situations that people may not really have the courage to tunnel through. And with our music and the gifts that God gives us, He allows us to be able to minister to people to encourage their hearts from day to day.
Yeah. So once you started writing on your own album, did you find it like easier that you had wrote before in Sounds of Blackness?
When I started to write as a solo artist, I kind of was able to relate it more to an individual as opposed to the writings that I did where I was writing from an us point of view.
Right.
It was more of what I was experiencing in life and looking around and seeing what other people were experiencing and realizing that in so many ways we're so much alike, and then even in our differences that there is a common solution. So being able to write, I had the outstanding opportunity to write for artists that I loved and that had looked up to and that I had learned and had kind of incorporated into the Ann Nesby style of music, the likes of Patti, Labelle, Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight. Having the opportunity to write for those artists really opened a broader view for myself in that when I became a writer on the staff with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis on the Flight Time staff, they encouraged their writers to know that publishing is definitely the lifeline for all artists in that your music that they will have to pay for, that they will pay you to write, and it'll allow you capital to exist, to sing, and you only grab your last hit, and you don't have hits every year, but you're publishing, and those songs that you've written, they will pay you for them, and then they will take care of you. And holding on to your publishing was important for us, too, because pioneer artists, they didn't write quite as much, and those that did write, they didn't have the understanding that holding on to their publishing was important for them to be able to live and pass on to their children's children.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And speaking of writing, like one of my favorite songs, you say you write for other people, is The Right Kind of Lover, which Patti Bell sings.
Absolutely.
Now that's my favorite. And I want to know, and I think, I don't know if you co-wrote it or with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, or...
I co-wrote that song along with Big Jim Wright, who we all know now as one of the great producers and music directors for Sunday Best and the Apollo Music, and great writer-producer Mariah Carey, Michael. Usher and so many other artists, but
Yeah.
I brought Big Jim into the industry as a songwriter and musician. We came from Rockford, Illinois, and we came to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and I was just always insistent that they would bring him on because I knew what a talent he was, and we began to write together, and we were actually writing for my first project when Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis approached me and said, I know that this song that you're writing is planned to be one of your first singles. He said, but this is a lesson, one of your first lessons, that this can serve as capital. It can serve as collateral for you to live and have money and to have the opportunity to be around and experience the artistry of one of the legends that you have loved and admired for years, to be able to be in her presence and to befriend someone that you looked up to, and to be able to pick their brain and get some lessons of life from the music industry and to become friends with. Therefore, that song, Right Kind of Lover, was written about my husband. But when you write, sometimes your music just fits other artists, and they can relate, and that's how they choose your music, whether they can feel it or whether they can feel a connection to how you're vibing and how you're writing, the things that you're writing about, and they can relate. So that's how that came about, being in the right place at the right time, being with the super producers, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, you basically answered my question, because I was going to ask you, like, what was one of the greatest lessons that you learned from other writers? Absolutely.
But having Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis as teachers, them having been artists themselves with the time, then becoming producers and then owners of their own label, I really had the best of all worlds and direction and some great teachers. So it was a blessing for me. God really put me in a great position.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, with your writing, do you ever have a fear of running out of material to write about?
I think as long as I'm living, there's always something that comes up, and we have our ups and downs and emotions and true to life issues, and even seeing things that other people are going through that might strike you that you might want to share. You're not saying naming names, but watching situations unfold and seeing and knowing, as seeing things from your point of view, which is one of the songs that I did on my new CD, point of view. You see things through your eyes, and then others see them through their eyes. But when you can share your point of view, and you share your point of view, sometimes it elevates the thinking, and it helps other people realize that the way they're trying to settle their situation may be harder than the solution that you bring in your songwriting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So true.
Okay, so in your 2002 album, Put It on Paper, you had the song Put It on Paper, the single, featuring Green, which became your first #1 song, am I right?
That was definitely one of my #1s.
Okay.
And having the opportunity to work with the legendary Reverend Al Green is definitely one of the highlights of my life.
Yeah.
Knowing him as a legend, not only to African Americans but the world over, a legend. We respect his music and his artistry, but to be able to be in the studio and watch his means of work, the way he worked, and how seriously he takes his job, and because, you know, he's more a recording artist from the old school.
Yeah.
Where when you would record, you wouldn't have the option that technology has given us today, where when you went in the studio to record, whatever you laid down, that's what was on tape.
Yeah.
So even though he had the options of technology to be able to, let's do that again, let's run back over that, he still worked with the professionalism of an artist that didn't have the option. And if he had to use his option, he still was professional enough to know when he needed to go back. So that makes for a great artist when you can be at your best as soon as you get to the mic. And when you come in the room, you know what you want to do. And it all goes back to being prepared and dedicating yourself to your craft and being true to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, but that put it on paper, and I'm still wearing your name is two favorites of all.
Well,
now,
thank you so much.
Don't get me wrong.
I would think that you were too young to know that.
No,
to know about that. So now you're looking forward to putting it on paper.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you a funny story about that song. When I go to, sometimes churches invite me to their pastor's anniversary banquet, and the pastor will come up and say, I was hoping that you would sing that song, put it on paper. Because that song, even though it played as secular music, it had a biblical principle. Because the Word of God says that when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing.
Yeah.
And if you listen closely to the beginning of the record, you'll hear Reverend Al Green, where he started preaching and getting happy about the song before the song starts. And that was a literal conversation that we were having with him about people shacking up.
Yeah.
And from now on, when you listen to that song, you'll hear him preaching and slapping on top of the counter in the room, because he was getting happy that people were going to submit themselves to each other in marriage and holy matrimony.
Yes, that's one of my
So
favorite
I
songs.
have so many people, and the other exciting thing is that, you know, usually you have women that are in a hurry to get married, but I have men that come up and say, I sure appreciate you for singing that song, because I have been trying to get that woman to marry me forever.
Now you wear so many hats in this business, which is amazing. Like, you know, writing, producing, and everything. And you dabbled into acting. How did you get started into that, and how was that different from the singing?
I've always loved theater, and I've always loved acting. I was really blessed to be able to begin working in theater with Donald Lawrence. I don't think a lot of people knew that I worked with Donald Lawrence very early on, even before he became the legend in the gospel community that he is today. And I worked with him in theater, doing an off-Broadway show called Sing Hallelujah. And then after coming from that, then I went into Sounds of Blackness. So I was already acting even before I came into Sounds of Blackness. And then after Sounds of Blackness, I went on to work with our great and grand Tyler Perry, touring with him on his first road tour with a show called I Know I've Been Changed. And I think that was long before people knew the genius of Tyler Perry. And I had a wonderful time, because that show came out here in Atlanta, and it was supposed to be for 3 nights and we ended up touring it for 2 years.
Wow.
And after that, I went on and worked with one of our other African American directors, Shelley Garrett, who was an early on pioneer with one of the first African American shows to hit Broadway, Beauty Shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with Shelley Garrett, and I also had the privilege of working with Dave Talbot on a couple projects. What My Husband Doesn't Know, which has been aired on, it toured and also aired on BET. And I worked with him on a project called A Fool and His Money.
Yeah.
So I had a great opportunity to work with those great theater producers, but I think one of the other highlights in my life was when I had an opportunity to work on the set and be in the movie Fighting Temptations with Beyoncé Knowles and Cuba Gooding, and so many other great musical artists, Shirley Caesar, and nominated for a Grammy with Shirley Caesar, who was one of the women that really inspired me on the gospel side of music. To be able to be nominated for a Grammy with her was a blessing to me. So working in theater and in television really was a blessing, and it kind of the best of both worlds, because it was my two loves of acting and singing. So they kind of went hand in hand, and it encouraged me. So this year I also did a few shows in the series of Ricky Smiley, and I had an opportunity to display the comedic side of Ed Nesby, which a lot of people probably didn't realize, and to share in the comedic genius of Ricky Smiley. So God has really been good, and I'm this year, along with promoting my new CD, Living My Life, with Arrow Records, I'm going to definitely also in between be taking a few acting classes so I can up my game for the screen.
On Fighting Temptations, would you really call that acting? Because it seemed like everybody on there was just doing what they normally do.
Absolutely. It was more so of everybody having a good time.
Yeah.
And for all intents and purposes, we were, a lot of us, we were peers, and we were just hanging out, having a great time, being ourselves.
Right.
So being able to be there and to be among the who's who in the music community was a blessing in and of itself. To have an opportunity to share with Beyoncé on a daily basis and to get a closer understanding of who she was as a person, and being able to enjoy her beautiful spirit as opposed to what you see and what you think, whatever you perceive about her, but being able to be there with her parents and how she treated her mother and her father and the way that they treated her and they catered to each other. It really blesses you, and it allowed me to love her on a deeper level because of the respect that she had for her parents and the way she carried herself. A lot of times when God blesses us to be elevated into positions the way she is, we become snobs, or we tend to think that we're better than everybody. But I'm really excited to say that I absolutely loved and enjoyed working with her, and also Cuba Gooding, who was one of the stars, had a great time and got to know them on a personal level and enjoyed my time, my first debut for silver screen.
That's kind of why we did the show. Most of the time in our day and age, most people put out the negative image. Like I said, people love to watch a train wreck that you don't really get a chance to see what people really are like.
Are about. And that's why when I go out, I try to come and do the meet and greets because of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who still travel free. And a lot of times people create a realm for themselves where they lock themselves in prison along with their stardom. But if you're real and and you're true to who you are, then you know that people receive you for who you are. And Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis to this day hardly ever travel with security. And they wanted us to be able to be free, to be able to meet people on a grassroots so that we could appreciate the people that appreciate us and return the love. So that was the way they taught. So that's the kind of example that I kind of followed. So whenever I'm out and about, I'm still out and about in the community and meeting people, and they were like, "You in there? What you doing at Walmart? What you doing at Walmart? What you doing at the dollar store?" And I look over in their cart, and I'm like, "These the same bargains you getting." So being able to live and to be free and to enjoy the opportunity to travel the world and to be able to be used by God to bless people and still be able to be out and have my freedom, I think it's a plus.
Amen. Okay, so now it's like we were talking about the acting. Now that you've done music for a while, you know, now you're starting to do acting. Is there either one of them that you like a little more than the other one, or are they both on the same level for you?
I would definitely say that music is definitely my calling, my first calling, because I've been singing, and it's definitely generational for me. Both parents sing, both grandmothers sang. So music is definitely the root of my gift, and the gift that God gave me first. And, you know, when God blesses you and he gives you a gift, when you pursue it and you use that gift, he continues to give you other gifts. So to add on to what he's already given you, when he sees that you're not going to bury the first gift, he continues to add on. And I consider acting and cooking and playing instruments to be other gifts that he added on because of my obedience in my assignment to be a singer that he could use in the kingdom.
Right. Okay, so in the music, your last album, the Lula Lee Project, was in 2009. And now you have your new album coming out June 3rd. Why has it been so long? Well, 5-year hiatus. Why has it taken that long for you to have a new album out?
Well, actually, I started working with my granddaughter, Paris Bennett, who went on to work on American Idol when she decided that she wanted to be a singer as well. I started training her, and my daughter had a music career as well, and also working in theater. I decided to pursue more theater work, and while I was working with Paris and preparing her for all the things that she was doing, and then during that time, I began to take care of my mother, who became ill. So I was taking care of her until 2 years ago. She was deceased. So now I knew that I've done everything that God commanded to me, to honor your mother and your father.
Right.
And to put them first and know that you only get one mother. So I decided to step in, and I took care of her, moved out of my home and took care of her for the last 6 months. As opposed to going back and spending more time taking care of her, just working enough to be able to take care of myself and then taking care of her. But being able to come back and to tell the stories and share the experiences of living my life, because we know that all those things play an important part in living your life. and that all those things are going to come to be. It gave me more ammunition for this new project, and being able to work with Creflo and Patti. I've been a member of their church for 15 years, and as an artist, they would bless me and pray for my career. And I was really honored that they decided to add a soul division to their label, knowing that we have to minister to the whole man as opposed to just Sunday morning man when you see people at church, because you got to come home and you got to live your relationships at home. And sometimes people are not so well equipped to live in that household on a daily basis in relationship as they are in their relationship with God, because we have relationship with people every day. We, of course, like I said, we go to secular jobs and we have secular people in the world. We live in the world, but we're not of the world. Exactly. So we have to learn how to live on a daily basis. So the relationship music that I write and that I sing, my pastors were aware of it, and they loved what I did. And they loved the love ballads that I sang. And because the music did not defile anything, any righteous living, but it always dealt with love and situations, whether it be the end of relationships or the beginning of relationships. My point of view, I was able to share the song, my single, Living My Life, letting my hair down, making the best of everything, running wild and free. But we do that after we've done what God has commanded of us, because we can live and live free and let our hair down, because we don't have any worries or problems, because we know that God is in control. And like the song says, people look at you and may feel like you may not have any issues, but as long as you live, there's going to be trouble. But you have to know how to rest in God and know that He's in control. So that's where that song Living My Life comes from. And I work with some young producers, Kendrick Dean, Brandon Alexander, and their crew, who decided they wanted to bring youthful music to Ann Nesby style, and to keep me true, but evolve the music where it would fall on more youthful ears. And, you know, in this business, you have to keep recreating yourself so that you can be relevant, because you don't want to come out with some old 40s music trying to capture the ears of teenagers, but you want to stay credible enough so that your fans that have been with you from the beginning are not neglected. So that's why I always like to sing. I sing dance music. I sing R&B music. And God has blessed me with that platform, coming from a group like Sounds of Blackness that sang the music of the people. So it allowed me to be able to stay in that vein of R&B music, but to stay positive and not be derogatory. And so being able to work this and work with my church label is a blessing within itself. I don't have to travel back and forth to New York or back and forth to L.A., but I can stay right here in Atlanta and work with my church and my pastors and their label. And God has really been in this. I did songs like Cannonball that relates to situations that young people are having in school. The song relates to bullying. The verse starts out and it says, I was fragile like cellophane. You could pierce me right through when you call me names. And then the second verse comes back and it talks to, and it says that all of my scars, I wear them proud. It made me who I am. Now I'm coming out like a cannonball. And you know the power of a cannonball. Nothing can stop it. Once you shoot it off, the only thing people can do is watch God elevate you and soar. So that's where that kind of song came from. And I was able to work with some young, this is new music for me. It's that electronic dance music.
Yeah.
I work with the design team out of Norway this time, and they were excited to have an opportunity to work with me, hearing the music that I'd done over the years with Sounds of Blackness, like Pressure, and the other dance music, Optimistic, and I Believe. So we had a wonderful time working together and doing message music, I consider it. So this project I named Life Music. Because it deals with every walk of life. I did a song called I See Beyond, and I dedicated that song to my mother. I was able to sing that at her funeral because I was able to play this music for her as she was going through her sickness. Excuse me. Sometimes we know that, we have issues, but the Word of God says that our latter life was going to be greater than our past. But we have to hold on because when we're in despair, it's hard to see through the clouds that hide the sun from our face. So, but we have to hold on and know that there is going to be pain and that the rain may come. But if we can hold on, the sun is going to shine and you'll be able to see beyond those issues and know that God is in control. That song, I See Beyond, was written by Tony Jones and produced by myself. Written by myself, and Vernon Nessum produced that. I also had an opportunity to work with Pastor Patti and Pastor Dollar's daughter, Jordan Dollar, this time around on the song called Higher. And is a song that encourages our heart to know that we can go higher in any situation, and that when we allow ourselves to see the big picture and not be weighed down by what people says, what people say, and hold on to our own dreams, that we can go higher and higher. And the other song I did with her is a dance song called In the Morning. Everything Will Be All Right. So I was really excited to work with her, and I told her on the credits, I said God gave us girl power in the studio. So, this industry is dominated by so many brothers that when I get an opportunity to work with sisters, I'm really excited. So I wanted to definitely give her credit being a young and up-and-coming producer. I know that everybody's going to know her name because she's going to be a very powerful writer, producer in the industry. I enjoyed working with her, and also Michael Snoddy, who was a great producer. We did the song Point of View, a song about relationships, where, everybody's on the outside looking in, trying to tell you how to run your relationship. And they send it through their eyes. And but everybody sees things differently when they're on the outside looking in, but only the two set of eyes that are involved really know the truth. And those are the eyes that really matter in getting your point of view. And you have to stick with what you know when you're determined to have that relationship. Because there's something my mother always said, that in a relationship, your tongue and teeth are in a relationship in your mouth. And sometimes your teeth bite your tongue, but you don't get rid of either one of them.
Nope.
You have to teach them how to get along because they got to work together in order to achieve what you need to have done. So that song is really dear to my heart, my point of view. And I did a song with Patrick. We call him Guitar Boy. We did a song. It's kind of an unplugged song because all of the songs were so musical. We wanted to give a break so people could really hear artistry because technology has taken over music so much. This is a single on the record. It's just guitar and voice. And it's called This Is the Love, and I featured a young man because I love to work with the young people and network with them. Even when I choose a band, I try to get young people to do background work so that they will have the experience of going on the stage and possessing the stage. I do a showcase for them to step out and sing from on the stage. I love that. So working with Louis Sky, the featured artist, his talent is so noteworthy. I'm sure that you're going to love that. He's a young man. And when we play the music, they say that he's so reminiscent of R. Kelly. I was really excited to hear his voice, so I enjoy his work as well on This Is the Love. And the song Look Back and Remember, it deals with sometimes when things get old, you want to just get something new.
Exactly.
And so you find everything wrong with what you got already, even though it's not broke.
Exactly.
So this song kind of deals with that element. Even in our relationships, we have the best person for us in our life, but we get tired of it and we mistreat it. But you don't miss what you got until it's gone. And when you start to complain, you can look back and remember back when things were good, how they made you laugh, how they understood you. So that song I also did with Kendrick Bean and a young lady, Isis. I love her dearly. We had girl power on that one. So I enjoyed working with the young people. They gave me a new sound. But we kept the same message. And that's what this project is about, living my life, recreating myself, reinventing myself. You see so many artists that come, they have a great number one, and they're tearing up the charts, they're flaming hot, and then you never hear from them again. It's because they don't reinvent themselves and allow their music to evolve. And I'm really blessed that God has taught me how to recreate myself, and when things are going bad on this side, to venture over into the other gifts that he has given me to sustain me as I did in the 5 years. But I'm really excited that I'm coming out like a cannonball.
Exactly.
And living my life.
All right.
Okay, so on the new album, what can people expect from you as far as the genres? Is it like pop? Is it dance? Is it R&B, gospel? What is it?
It's R&B. It's inspirational.
Okay.
It's gospel. I have a gospel song on there called All Right.
Okay.
All right.
Baby D. Davis, who is a producer, songwriter, performer, who has a project out right now called Baby D and Remnant.
Mm-hmm.
He did a project with me called All Right, which is a gospel song that everything is going to be all right if we learn how to trust God and let him lead the way and rest in him, that he'll make everything all right because he has that capability. And that's the kind of God we serve, that everything he does it well. And when we rely on him and put him first, he'll make everything all right. So this project contains gospel music. It contains R&B music. It has love ballads. It has inspirational music, the one I See Beyond. So it has something for everybody. I didn't leave out anybody.
Okay.
You talk about your faith a lot, which is amazing. I want to know, is that what keeps you grounded, and is that what made you have longevity in this business? Like as you said, most people have one-hit wonders and we never see them again.
I know for a fact that my life and my choice in making God first in my life is the reason my music exists. Because it was God that gave me the gift.
Right.
And when we're obedient to God and we carry out our assignments, and we do the job that he has assigned us, because even from our mother's womb, we are assigned jobs. That's what I was touching on when I said, when he gives you a gift and you learn what your gift is and you utilize that gift, he adds on gifts. Because God, he doesn't use people that are not busy, because he knows that if you're not busy doing what he assigned you to do, then you're not going to be the one to carry out, and you ain't going to go nowhere, so you can't get nothing done. So it's important for us to remain true to the kingdom, doing what you're supposed to do. And then when we take care of God's business, everything else is added to us.
Yeah.
And even when the music is not selling, He's giving me the acting that takes care of me.
Yeah,
so what people have to realize that these dream homes have dream bills.
Exactly. That's what I said.
So we have to continue and use our gifts.
Yeah. That's why I say so much of us, we sit back on TV and we see the end product and we see the big cars and we see the big houses and we see
absolutely
everybody got money, but we don't understand the hard work and
that goes into it. Yes, we see the bright lights and the laughter and the end result, but we don't see the sacrifice and we don't see the dedication, the hurry up and wait, get up at 5 in the morning to go to a television studio to wait to go on at 8:30 in the morning. They don't see that, and that your attitude got to be right even when things are not right.
Exactly.
Because you have to meet your public. And sometimes young artists don't get it. And they carry it forward, and it ends their career with a deathly silence. Because you have to realize that you're not your own. And when you decide to share your gift with the world, you have to be prepared for it and know what comes with it.
Yeah, yeah.
So is there anything in your career that you want to do that you haven't done yet?
Let's see. Let me see. Something that I want to do. I definitely want to. Like I said, I'm taking acting classes this summer, so I want to be a part of have a major role in silver screen in movies. I think I have a lot more to contribute to that field with along with the education that I'm preparing for. I think I'd make a good grandmother or auntie. And I think some of those roles are waiting and that needed to be filled, and I'm looking forward to doing that and to performing with some great artists that that I love in the industry. So there are definitely a couple of things that I have left yet to do.
Yeah. Okay. What's it like? What was it like watching your grandbaby? Paris. She amazing singer. I know in your family. Yes, she was. I was voting every week.
Thank you.
How proud of you were of watching? I know her mother was a singer too. How proud of you watching her and seeing her strive in this business? When you know this business can be ugly, can be tough. What advice do you give her and to keep her grounded?
Well, first and foremost, I was amazed that either one of them decided to take on the music business.
Yeah.
Seeing everything that I went through in the industry and how cutthroat the industry could be and how demanding it is and how the competition is in this genre of music. I wasn't sure that I wanted them to do that, but when they were so determined, I was like, who am I to hold them back from their dreams and their aspirations? So I had to get on board. And when Paris decided she wanted to do American Idol, I was game. And but one thing that I always would say to them is I'm not going to just walk you in the door because I want you to understand what it takes to open the door. And when I saw Randy, that was one of the hardest things for me to not come on because he wanted me to come on and sing. After he realized I was in the room. And I was like, well, first of all, I didn't want to overshadow Terrace in her quest, and I felt like I stood in line with her. And even when she would get tired, she said, I don't want to do it. I don't want to. Well, I said, this is part of the game. If you don't want to wait for this, then you got a whole life ahead of you where you're going to be hurry up and wait. And this is all a part of it. So I think it really paid off. And when Randy came and asked me to sing, I told him the same thing. I was like, I don't want to overshadow her, and I want her to make it on her own merit so that she'll know that she can do this without favoritism, and that people will respect you more when they know that you achieved this on your own merit.
Exactly.
So that was one of the hardest things for me, to be able to not lose my friendship with them wanting me to come on, just sing something. Well, actually, I want this limelight to be all about her.
Yeah.
So I was really excited the way the outcome was. And
Right.
And he was like, well, so which one is your daughter? I said, you'll see her when she opens her mouth.
Oh yes. When she did the first one, the first little song, which was beautiful, but when she did Take 5.
Yes. And that's what I did. I told her I wanted her to diversify, to be diverse in her music, because they expected that this little black girl, this 15-year-old, is going to come and sing Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
Because that was popular music, and that's what everybody was singing. I said, but I want you to be diverse. And I want you to be able to sing Billie Holiday. I want you to be able to sing the Dixie Chicks. I want you to be able to come up there and blow them away with Aretha Franklin. I want you to be able to come on in there and just, whenever they ask you for any genre of music, can you sing this? Can you sing this? Yeah. And I think that's what wanted for her, because they were first looking at her like they thought she was too young.
Yeah. Right.
And then when they kept asking her for music, I think it shocked them that she was prepared on every level.
Yes, she was. And all she had to do was open her mouth. Like, she really, once she opened her mouth, it spoke volumes for her. Like, it was.
And I was so proud. I think it showed when I fell all out on the floor praising God. I think I might have been one of the first mothers to shout on American Idol.
All right.
With no shame and no apologies.
Yeah.
Miss Ann Nesby, what is one of your greatest accomplishments that you feel you have done?
I think one of my greatest accomplishments, I would say one of the highlights of my life in the industry, in my journey, was to be able to, on the first tour, my very first tour, musical tour, you know how they say you have to pay dues, and you got to pay your dues to be able to make it to the top. God blessed me, and I think Sounds of Blackness, from the top. Yeah. Because our first tour, we toured with Luther Vandross.
Oh, wow.
I had not yet met Aretha Franklin. Yeah. And Aretha Franklin was one of my favorite artists. Yeah. And I was out on tour with Luther Vandross, and I was really thinking about the fact that, Lord, here we are out on tour with Luther Vandross, who is one of the greatest singers of all time. Yeah. Touring with him at the top, one of the greatest tours you could ever get. And when they told us, when Grammy time came around, we were nominated for a Grammy. Mm-hmm. Yep. So when I was talking to Luther while we were on the road, And he asked me one of the same questions, and he said, "What's something that you haven't done that you really want to do?" I said,
Yeah.
I said, one of my dreams is to meet. I said, well, I'm doing one of the things. I'm doing one of the things. I said, to be able to meet and know and be friends with Luther Vandross. I said, and all my life I always studied background for Patti LaBelle, Aretha Franklin, and Gladys Knight. I knew all their songs. I knew all their backgrounds.
Yeah.
To be able to meet Aretha Franklin while we're out, and I knew that he had worked with her and written songs for her, so I knew he was good friends with her. I said, one of the things that I would love to do is to meet Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
And when we got to the Grammys, as we were nominated, our first Grammy, he said, Miss Ann, he said, has your dream come true yet of meeting Aretha? I said, no, not yet. He said, well, you're in luck. He came to the back of the auditorium and got me, and he said, come here, I want you to go somewhere with me.
Uh-oh.
And as we were walking, he said, did you know that you're going to be singing background for me and Aretha today?
Oh.
And I was like, wow. And he said, and I'm taking you now, he said, because I want you to meet somebody.
Oh.
Luther Vandross took me down the aisle and introduced me to Aretha Franklin on the day that Sounds of Blackness, we won our first Grammy. And that, I don't think that any highlight in my career is ever going to top that one.
Yeah. Oh, it's an amazing story. Yes, God is so good.
All the time.
So good. It's amazing how that comes full circle. That when you sit back and you reminisce and you think about things like that, because you know, and you realize and you see what God has. You know, some of us, you know, we take for granted and we think, you know, in the bad times we say, "Oh, God ain't here for me." But when you look back and you sit back at those types of moments, you like, you know what? He was right there all along, and he's still here.
Always, he's always. God is always with us, and His presence is the most important thing that we could ever have or ask for, because we know that when He is with us, that whom shall we fear?
No one.
And when He is for us, who can be against us?
Amen.
So if we know that God is for us, then we win.
Yes.
Amen.
And we can live our life.
Live our life. All right now.
Okay, so Miss Ann, if you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
I would describe myself as blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Thankful.
Mm-hmm.
And successful, because I have God.
Yeah.
Amen.
I add beautiful in there too for you.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, would you like to sing a little something, or you know, if you don't want to, you don't have to.
I don't mind. In fact, I think one of the songs that I always share is "I See Beyond," and I like to sing that one because it's so inspirational, and it encourages the heart to know that regardless of what you're going through, if you can hold on just a little longer. Midnight, if you're in the darkest of night, which is midnight, that it only lasts for 1 second, and then it's morning. If you can just hold on and see beyond what your issues are. So I'll sing that a little bit for you. Of course you did. Dark clouds dim your skies. It's hard to see but I tried. Can see the forest for the tree, but I know there's more for me. I see beyond all of my pain, there's healing. Just beyond whatever's been broken, I'll keep on giving. 'Cause I know what's coming is better than what's been. So from day to day, whatever comes my way, through the eyes of faith, I see beyond.
All right. Woo. You just blessed me. You just
Thank
blessed
you.
Me. Yeah. You just blessed
Thank
me.
you so much.
Oh, that was amazing.
Wow. Well, you know what? That's all we have for you today, and we want to thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
You don't know what you've done for me today. You know, just talking to you're helping me live my dream.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you so
that.
much.
Yeah. And I'm blessed because I had an opportunity to share with you all, and I'm blessed that you even decided to interview me, being so youthful, and to have a desire to understand me deeper and to know that you enjoy the music, because I'm blessed that you get the music and that you understand it. Right. And I thank God for this opportunity. There's one thing that I would really love to share, that I'm on social media.
Okay.
And that I do the social media, and I enjoy getting feedback because I love to know, just like you as young people, I love to know and hear what they say, and that I like to share the fact that I'm excited that this project is coming out in June, which is Black History Music Month. Black Music Month. To be able to share this music, Black Music Month, I'm really honored because it allows us to share and reflect on the music of a people that have contributed so much to the music industry and so overlooked that other genres of and idioms of music have taken our music, not even realizing that the West African polyrhythms are in practically every genre of music that you hear. But yet it is derived from the rich African heritage of music. And I want to just share that and to be excited about the opportunity to release music in the month of June.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Well, we're so excited for you.
Thank you.
For this album to come out, because I definitely will go and get it and let you know everything I like and everything about it.
Do. I look forward to this.
Yeah.
And I will make sure that you get music that you can listen to and critique it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we can be in touch and talk about the music. And I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And when you come back down to Miami, we have to do a live interview with you now.
Now, where are you?
Miami, Florida.
Oh, you're in Miami.
Yeah.
I come to Miami quite a bit. In fact, my brother-in-law is from D-Land.
Oh, okay.
And so we come down to Miami. We come to visit them, and then we go down to Miami and shop and go to the outlet.
All right.
When you come down, we can come shop together now.
Yeah.
I would love that. In fact, I'll call you all the next time I come to Florida. How about that?
All right. That'd be great. All right,
that's wonderful. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Same to you.
Bye-bye.